Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Rada McBerto is your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. New Hampshire is over, and you know what? It's not completely as expected. Bernie Sanders did very well. He won the popular vote again. Pete Buttigieg came in second. I mean, his operation seemed to be paying off just fine. I guess if you have enough money to get that stuff done, then you know what? You get that stuff done. And Pete Buttigieg seems like he have enough of the ducats to go ahead and get the people out. But that's good. We had a good showing. Lamentably, Klobuchar came in third, but Elizabeth Warren came in fourth. It seems like what the media did after the debate was partially successful, and that is the reason why we have to be constant. We have to always have an independent media folks out there that we can get to the people, so that the crap that the media did by really Americans are scared. They want to make sure and get rid of Trump, and the media first told them, El Señor Biden was their savior. And when they saw Biden crater, they had to look for another savior, the whole place, to see. Well, let's go ahead and start the show. Title of the show today, very, 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 very important show today. Title of the show today is Bernie won. Media establishment and plutocracy going crazy. What's next? What's next? MSNBC, for the most part, was in hyperventilating mode. Bernie won both Iowa and New Hampshire. Any other candidate would elicit praise. What does he get again? Crickets, 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 crickets. Oh, you have a few people that are there trying to demean. Oh, he didn't get the big win that he got when he ran against Hillary Clinton. Of course, it was only Hillary Clinton and him really of consequence in the race. Now we have a democratic field filled with substantive people. Yes, they differ in centrality and left and progressiveness. Yes, but they are all of our candidates are substantial candidates. Right now, we are battling for whether we want to go progressive or status quo, centrist, moderate. And that's the real issue here. So we have a lot of candidates covering those fields. On the progressive side, we have Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Steyer, Young, and others. So all of them are split in that vote. And of course, on the centrist side, we have Klobuchar, Biden, Bennett, and a few others. So what I'm trying to say is to expect that Bernie Sanders was going to get the kind of landslide he got in New Hampshire with all these great candidates. And I'm telling you, these are great candidates, except Biden. These are great candidates. Even I don't like what Klobuchar stands for, but she's a competent and a good candidate. I don't particularly like what a couple of others stand for, but they're good candidates. So we should expect that, that would happen. But sadly, they don't know what to do. And I want to play you something. But before I play you something, I want you to take a look at how they interpreted, right? How they interpreted Bernie Sanders' win. Well, I didn't get that tape. What I did is they interpreted Bernie Sanders' win as something like, it's not as good as it should have been, right? That is what they want to tell you. His win is not as good as it should have been. So it's how they interpreted, right? How they interpreted
give them that.
Bernie Sanders' win. But the thing about it is, when they start to create the narrative as far as what it really means going forward, we have an issue. So what I want you to do is, the person who corrected the narrative was Chris Hayes. Chris Hayes, in my mind, he took a chance because the way the system is being run at him right now, it seems to me like they really, really, really didn't want him to say what he said. But here we go. I'm going to go ahead and play that, and then I'll take it on the other side. The continual disregard for Bernie Sanders on MSNBC was astounding. The disregard for Elizabeth Warren, making her invisible on MSNBC, was also disheartening. But you know what? It's always great to see when you have a particular reporter that bucks the system. A particular reporter that says, you know what, I am just going to tell it like it is. And in Chris Hayes, that is exactly what we got. That is exactly what we got.
I think you've seen the Sanders campaign aware that what works in a Democratic primary is a message of hope, and I think you've seen them pivot more towards that. In fact, the ads they've been cutting down the stretch have been about hope, right? It's sort of the idea of a better future, and I think they understand very well how much this sort of sense of there is something better on the horizon is a motivator. I think Chris is right for Democrats, right? And I think they have been aware of that. The one thing I would say about tonight, I think if you're the Sanders camp, you probably want it, but you definitely want to win outright. You probably wanted to hit 30% as your benchmark. But on the other side of this, I think it's useful to think about three things that are necessary right now to compete in this field. One is you got to perform in the early states, right? We're watching what happens if you don't put up good numbers in the contests. It's like a shark. It's got to keep moving through water. You got to keep posting some sort of victories. It is hard to go for a long time without one, as Joe Biden says. You got to be able to do that. You got to have the money and organization to play nationally, because you're going to have almost half the delegates awarded on Super Tuesday 3 days out of South Carolina. And you got to put together a multiracial coalition. Right now, Bernie Sanders is the only candidate in the race that is doing those three things. I mean, if you look at the polling in places like California and nationally, he's building a multiracial coalition. He's got one victory in Iowa, or a shared victory with Pete Buttigieg. He's got a good performance tonight, whatever that comes down, and he's got a lot of money in the organization. There is no under candidate at this point, at least as I speak to you at 10-12, who is checking all three of those boxes. There are some that are checking 2 of 3, but right now there's only one candidate in the race that's checking all 3.
Now, you listen to the narrative on TV, they would make you believe that Bernie Sanders is not building a multiracial, multicultural coalition. The fact of the matter is, the crosstabs say that he is. And as Chris Hayes said, he is the only candidate right now that's checking the boxes off on all 3. The continual disregard for Bernie Sanders. So, yes, in fact, Bernie Sanders is doing the job. I mean, you have to realize that Bernie Sanders has the weight of the Democratic Party against him. He has the weight of the media against him. He has the weight of the plutocracy against him. And with all those headwinds that he is still performing. Welcome aboard, Kathleen Maureen Morgan. Welcome aboard, Happy Life from YouTube. Welcome aboard, Mike Cizak. Welcome aboard, Get the Pitchforks. I love that tie. I love your name, buddy. Get the Pitchforks. Yes, we better get the pitchforks. Anyhow, folks, so, there's something that got to me, though. You remember all these months prior, MSNBC, including this guy, Eugene Robinson, all of them have been hitting Bernie Sanders, and all of them has been prepping and propping up Biden. Oh my God, they've been Biden is going to win. Biden has the vote of the black people. Biden have the gravitas. All these things were Biden is all you heard from the mainstream media, MSNBC. They're all pushing Biden, right? Here is the deal. I've written several times. Only when you have privilege can you lose all your elections, right? And somehow they will you to be the front runner. Biden, what a privilege. What a privilege. And finally, one of the same guys that were out there pushing that Biden was the one, that Biden had the gravitas, that Biden has the experience, that Biden had the people, that having worked with Obama, it was going to be Biden. Listen to how he sounds now. Because Eugene Robinson once thought that Biden was the thing. They were all pushing Biden. Mainstream media. Check this out.
So, Eugene, you buy the kind of diminishes it to call it the conventional wisdom theory that nothing short of a win for him.
In South Carolina?
Yeah.
I mean, he absolutely has to win South Carolina. And Joe Biden has run for president 3 times now. This is the 3rd time. I searched my memory. I don't think he has actually won a primary ever. And at some point, you got to start winning some primaries if you're going to be a nominee and going to be president.
So Eugene, you buy the kind of diminishes it to call.
Now, that is shocking. Bernie Sanders won a ton of primaries. Uh, Bernie Sanders, the person that they don't want, they hadn't picked, won a lot of primaries previously, so he's running again. Biden had run twice before. And in neither one of those runs, one, he had to exit the race because of a plagiarism scandal. And the first time he had to leave because he came fifth in Iowa. Again, my question, and I placed this way before Eugene Robinson before Eugene Robinson said this. What made these people believe that somehow Joe Biden was the chosen one? That somehow Joe Biden had what it takes to win? All he has proven in the last two contests that he ran is that he had never, ever won, not even one primary. Not even one primary in any state. But he is going to be the chosen one. Why would anybody have believed that? Anyhow, MSNBC for the most part was in hyperventilating mode. Bernie won both Iowa and New Hampshire. Any other candidate would elicit praise, but he got crickets. Bernie Sanders said that the establishment is starting to shake in its boots. He's right. Bernie won as expected. That said, we must not give up on Elizabeth Warren. She is an integral part of the progressive coalition we will need in Milwaukee. This stuff is just beginning, folks. Both need to fight for Yang's vote and earn Bennett's, who clearly lied to us all. What did he lie about? He lied about Medicare for all. He was nothing but a stooge to the Partnership for America's Healthcare Freedom, or whatever they call that phony corporation that is there to defend all the healthcare companies, etc. Now, Biden is on life support. Biden is toast. Because Biden just looked frazzled. Biden just looked not capable. The media is trying to will Klobuchar, as they did Biden, as they try to create a narrative that makes a Bloomberg purchase of the Democratic Party and possibly the nomination palatable. See? They have to keep these new centrists out there that on getting traction, right? So what they did is, and I understand exactly what's happening, right? Elizabeth Warren, who gets a lot of the women vote, who want to see a competent woman win the presidency. A lot of women thought that way. But there goes the mainstream media. The mainstream media, they're confusing people. Oh, she has what it takes to win. Amy Klobuchar. So it's another woman, competent, what we want. And that's what they say. So Klobuchar just zapped a lot of the momentum that we had in that particular channel. Because remember, a lot of people really just want to do what is going to be necessary to get rid of Donald Trump. They'll take a little bit less, in some cases a lot less, just to do that. So that's what they're doing here. So what we have to ask is, what happened to Elizabeth? Well, that is exactly what happened to Elizabeth. Elizabeth Warren was doing just fine. Elizabeth Warren was going to come in a solid second or a solid third. But the media, again, knew exactly what it had to do, and it was successful in doing it. I mean, it's not long lasting because people eventually, they're going to listen to independent media. They're going to listen to other spins. They're going to listen to what she sends out as well. And folks are going to then say, wow. There's a lot to come out on Klobuchar that will make it difficult for her to pick up a lot of minority votes. There are things in her record that will probably prevent that. But Elizabeth Warren pretty much is clean. They can bring up Pocahontas and all that kind of stuff, but Elizabeth Warren really is one of the cleanest folk that are running right now. But again, so Bernie Sanders won. What I'm trying to tell people right now, let me finish reading the entry. The rest of the entry says as follows. The media is trying to will Klobuchar as they did Biden, as they try to create a narrative that makes a Bloomberg purchase of the Democratic Party and possibly the nomination palatable. In other words, Bloomberg has the money to buy the party and the party is broke. The party is broke because it's not doing a lot of things that it needs to be doing. Okay? So, Amy Klobuchar doesn't know it yet, but she's just a placeholder. She's a placeholder for the plutocracy as they make Bloomberg benevolent, as they make Bloomberg palatable, as they make Bloomberg somebody that just maybe we'll consider El Señor Bloomberg, and then we'll throw Amy Klobuchar. And in case Bloomberg can't overcome all those issues that he have with, what is it called? With frisking, stop and frisk. In case he can't overcome that, okay. Well, Amy will kind of fit the bill because she's also in with the plutocrats. She doesn't mind being the centrist that doesn't give people the Medicare for all that they want, that don't give people the pay it forward tuition that they want, that don't give people the care for their kids that they need. So, I mean, Amy Klobuchar will be just okay, but she won't give the transformational change that we need. You know, we'll slide by. And we won't be as bad as Trump. So, that is where we're at. Now, this morning, I was pitching at KPFT with Amy Goodman from Democracy Now! We are at KPFT, a Pacifica station. We try to raise money for making sure that we can keep all these things going. And I had a soliloquy that I gave to our audience at KPFT that I want to play here. It's about 10 minutes or so. But before I do that, let me go ahead and say if anybody wants to call in and say anything now before I play that 10-minute soliloquy that I did this morning, you can call now, 646-716-5812. Again, that number is 646-716-5812. It's what you see on the screen. And let me go ahead and talk to you guys at on Facebook as well as YouTube. Hi all, Maureen Morgan. Hi all from sunny Situate, Massachusetts. I'm glad you're sunny. We're cold, gray, rainy, drizzly, all that good stuff. Happy life. Hey, UT Longhorn sign. You're going to see my UT Longhorn hoodie on the next video. Mike Cizak, Bernie won New Hampshire, Iowa, barely. He's performing under expectations. No, he is not, sir. My brother Cizak, there's a big field of competent people. People are going with folks. The impression is that Bernie can't win, that he gets the amount of votes, that he's leading in the national polls, means that there are a lot of people who even that they have the wherewithal to believe the reality that yes, he can in fact win. Okay? But there are some people that are not yet convinced. In fact, I had a call this morning with a young man who said, Egberto, how are we going to overcome the Democratic Socialist moniker? And I said, we don't only have to overcome the Democratic Socialist moniker, we actually have to overcome just the Socialist moniker, because that is how the Republicans are going to play the game. And I said, what we're going to do is get people to start forgetting about labels. We'll talk about that. I talk about that in a soliloquy I gave. Okay, Pitchfork says, Sanders has more votes and less delegates. It just shows you that we're not a real democracy, my brother. Get the pitchforks. Get the pitchfork says he has US. You're right, has us, absolutely. Mike Sitzak said he has the weight of 65% of the party members against him. No, that's not true at all. The establishment is against him, and when the establishment is against a particular person, that carries some weight, but once he wins, all of that goes out the door. Pitchfork says, I really wish Warren had not turned on Sanders, but she did. I don't think she turned on Sanders. No, she didn't. She didn't turn on Sanders. In fact, I did a video a few days ago where I showed Stephanopoulos was trying to get her to do just that. And what she did is she went positive. She didn't turn on him. So, Brother Pitchforks, no, she didn't turn on Bernie. There is going to have to be some contrast that they continue to make with each other so that each of them can garner their own bases until if we have to unite them in Milwaukee so that we have a bigger progressive base than a centrist base. Pitchfork says stapler hurler. Okay. Let's see. We have Get the Pitchfork says Warren has a good record. Yes, she does. Get the Pitchfork says, oh, hey, did you hear the recording by Bloomberg about stop and frisk? Mucho racist. Yeah, I saw. Actually, I blogged it, my brother. I blogged it. You need to check it out because it is like super cool, man. It's like super cool. All right. We also have from Lee Grant. Bloomberg just stated some inconvenient truths about criminality in New York City. I love the inconvenient truth, and I did a piece on the Bloomberg tape. You should see what I had to say there, brother Lee Grant, how I interpreted that. Because again, statistics are a difficult thing, right? Actually, it's an easy thing, but you can put all kinds of interpretations on it based on reality. So what I ask you is check that out for me. Check out that piece that I did on Bloomberg with the racist tape. Actually, it went kind of viral on YouTube as well as at Daily Kos. So check it out, check it out, check it out. All right, let's see. Lee, no, they are not true. That's right. Thank you for picking that up, Pitchforks. Lee Grant says, but a leftist can pretty much anything racist. I think, but a leftist can pretty much call anything racist. Anybody can call anything racist. I'm using the racist word less and less right now because people have the complexity of people is a lot different, especially today, right? I gave a little piece about you dealing with different persons of different cultures individually. And how it's amazing how when you're dealing individually, things are very different than when you're dealing it as an aggregate. So check it out. I'm going to play it in a little bit, but I just wanted to talk to you guys first. And anybody want to call? 646-716-5812. Again, 646-716-5812. If you call now, I'll get in. Otherwise, I'm going to have that other soliloquy play. Okay. Lee, they pulled more guns off white people off New York City in the time period. That's true. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. Thank you for putting that in, Pitchforks. It's so important for you to tell the way things really are. Lawrence Sims says, Bernie has been campaigning for POTUS for 5+ years, promises a lot. Yeah, he promises what we need, Brother Sims. He promises the things that we must have and the things that we can afford. We have a plutocracy that is vested into telling you you can't have that, even as they continue to provide all these socialist services to corporations. We can go into that at any time. And what I try to tell people is a lot of ways that we can discuss this is if somebody with a diametrically opposed opinion to what I talk about, to what Bernie talk about, to give us a call and we can have a civil conversation point by point, because my goal is not to fight with you. My goal is to have a conversation where we can actually come out with the realities of how the system really is. Kathleen Maureen Morgan, last night Warren took jabs at Bernie and his supporters. The only thing she didn't do was say his name. And I heard Buttigieg do the same thing too. It is a race and she's trying to recover some points. She won't recover points that way. I tell you something else, Kathleen, in my humble opinion. I think what happened to Elizabeth is Elizabeth Warren, she kind of got scared when she came out with her Medicare for All plan. First of all, they forced her, she allowed them to force her to come out with a specific Medicare for All plan, something that I didn't think she necessarily had to do. I mean, Republicans never do. They just say we're going to do X, Y, Z. They never get it done, but they talk about it. She could continue to be aspirational and then do the things that's necessary later on. But what she did is in her perfectionist, nerdist way, and that's how I am as well. She wanted to show exactly how it could be done as she said it was done. And what happened then is somebody else comes out and says, well, that is crap. You can't really do that. And people have a tendency to believe the negative as opposed to believe what she's saying. So she hurt herself there. And in not standing up as strong for Medicare for All. I mean, remember, she still supports Medicare for All. She still wants it. But she gave the impression like she won't really work for it immediately. And what happens with people is a lot of people look at that and they say, oh my God, she's already backtracking and she's not even yet elected. And that is how she's a very good person, not the very best politician. And that is what hurt her. Folks, if you're just joining us, please remember to go ahead and share our program. Share our program as wide as you can. This is the only way people are going to learn about what's going on right now. Lawrence Sims says a judge declared it racist. Yeah, it is. I mean, it is racist. It is racist. They stopped and searched from Pitchforks. They stopped and searched way more black people and it has deemed. Yeah, that's what they did. And again, if you have more entry, of course you're going to have the things are going to look different when you look at the record. Okay, Lawrence says, not that we can afford them, but can we get them delivered in 4 to 8 years in the reality that we must consider? No, Sims, we can't. But if we're on the path, we would have several presidencies under which to do it. Remember, even Obamacare, right? Had we campaigned strongly in the way we should have campaigned, Clinton would have been president, right? Clinton didn't lose because of Russia. Clinton didn't lose because of any of that, because of the Bernie folks who didn't vote for her. Clinton lost because she took the black vote for granted in Milwaukee. She took the black vote for granted in Detroit, and she took the black for granted in a lot of places in Pennsylvania. That's all. And trying to blame everybody else doesn't solve the problem. You got to go out there and work for your votes. You can't use you see, a lot of these people use a lot of these strategists and these high price guys that are in towers in New York. Michael Moore, scrappy Michael Moore went to Brooklyn. Hey guys, you're losing Detroit. Hey guys, you're losing Wisconsin. Hey guys, you're losing the Appalachian Trails where you would have won. He's trying to get to somebody out there. And the Hillary Clinton people, we got this. We got this. We got the polls. We got this. When I wrote about Donald Trump's triangulation on Daily Kos, I wrote a long article on that on Daily Kos. They completely, all those Democrats there that thought, oh, you just a Bernie guy and you just sour grapes, and they tore me to pieces for saying Donald Trump is on the ascent. Donald Trump is triangulating Hillary. Donald Trump is running like a progressive. And if you don't get it based on the wording and the wordiology that he's using, you don't get it. That is what Donald Trump did. He ran as a progressive. A lot of people don't see it. I wrote an article and I itemized the things where he did the triangulation. They laughed at me. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. But anyhow, so let me go ahead and let's see if I have anything. Can't call in from work. Sorry that you couldn't call in, Lawrence. But, you can, if you're off anytime, give me a call. I'd love to talk to you about those issues that you talk about. You guys are, I have the best listeners, the best watchers, the best everything. You guys are just wonderful. By the way, folks, if you are on YouTube, don't forget that if you want to contribute to this show, you can go ahead and do a super chat. You can do a super chat right now and say, hey guys, I want to support Politics Done Right and make sure that we continue to get these programs because it is important for us to be funded. Now, the other way that you can support us is to go to our store. You can go to our store. Go to store.politicsdoneright.com. If you go to store.politicsdoneright.com, guess what? You are able to say, we are going to wear your t-shirts to ensure that you are funded to keep doing what you're doing. We work very hard at this. For me, in my case, since I'm producer, writer, blogger, everything, 16 hours a day, cutting all these videos that we put out here. So it's a lot of work, but it's necessary work. It is rewarding work because we know what we are doing is going to make a difference. You can also get this other shirt that we have. Donald Trump in chains. An unconventional type president requires an unconventional type exit. Check out that one as well at store.politicsdoneright.com. Support the show. Now, if you want to, we are also looking for folks to subscribe. We need a lot of folks to start becoming members. We have quite a few right now, but we need to get about 1,000 members. Go to, and it's very inexpensive. You can just go ahead and go to patreon.com/politicsdoneright. That is patreon.com/politicsdoneright. Of course, if you want to help with our equipment upgrade, you can join our GoFundMe at gofundme.com/independent-media-upgrade. That is gofundme.com/independent-media-upgrade. And of course, you can always PayPal your contribution, and our PayPal address is paypal.me/politicsdoneright. Again, that is paypal.me/politicsdoneright. Of course, always go to our store and pick up something that is worthwhile to the store. Anyway, let me go ahead and play the video. Nobody called in, so what I'm going to go ahead and do right now is play you the soliloquy we did this morning because I was pitching with Amy Goodman this morning for Politics Done Right. And I read after she had to leave early, and we had to decide if we were going to play a video or oops, I got a call. Let me take that call real quick and then we'll continue. So bear with me. Let me take that call and we will then continue. Caller from 201. You are hot, my friend. Come on in 201. So bear with me. Let me take that call and we will then continue. Caller from 201. You are hot, my friend. Come on in 201. So bear with me, let me take that call. Okay, oh, I got some feedback there. Bear with me 1 second. Let me fix that feedback. You are hot, my friend. Come on in 201. Hold on a second, 201. I have a feedback loop that I can't understand right now. I got some feedback there. Bear with me 1 second. Let me fix that 201. You are hot, my friend. Come on in 201. Where is that feedback coming from? Hold on a second, 201. I have a feedback loop that I can't understand right now. I got some feedback there. Bear with me 1 second. We're fixing that. We're fixing that. We're fixing that. Hold on a second, 201. I have a. Okay. All right, caller. If you call back again, we'll put you on. I'm not sure what happened there with the feedback loop. I think that was coming from your phone. Caller. So give us a call back, and at 201, give us a call back. And what you do is you just go ahead and feed that up. But what I'm going to do right now, since the caller has gone, what I'll do right now is I'll go ahead. I think that feedback came from the caller. I couldn't find a loop here in our system. Anyhow, let me go ahead and give you the soliloquy that I gave this morning at KPFT, and then we'll move on from there. You know, around here at KPFT, we have wonderful volunteers working. We have wonderful people doing a whole lot of stuff. And in our studio this morning, there's Corey and there's Dakota. And, you know, we sat, while some of the programs are playing, we sit down and have conversations. I mean, we sit down and have great conversation because one of the things that we like to do around everybody is to sit down and talk and say, let's learn together. And one of the things that we started to go through is how our economy currently work. And what I try to tell folks all of the times is we are lied to every day. You know, in coming in, I live in Kingwood, coming in about 40 miles into KPFT, somewhere around there, every morning for this fun drive. And, you know, I see Americans, good Americans, clogging the freeways. Every morning, they're coming in. Every morning, they have a schedule. They get up at 5 in the morning. They have to be at work. And you know what? They work and they get the best pay that they can. And then they go back home, and then they do the things that they have to do. And every day, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. People talk about opportunity. But to have opportunity, you have to have the time, the wherewithal to be able to do it. You have to have the social constructs within a society that allows you, if you want to form a company, that your kids can be reared, that your kids can have a place to go. If you want to form a company and you don't want to be enslaved by a corporation, you have to be able to have health care. If you want to form a corp, if you want to live healthy and you don't want to live in some place that can get you sick, you have to live in a state, in a place where folks take the environment seriously. Those are things that we need. Those are things that we want. Those are things that we ask for. Those are things that a few candidates are offering. Those are the things that those in power are resistant to give you, unless you are informed to understand that right now you are being lied to. You are being lied to in telling you that you can be as much as you want to be, whatever you want to be. You can be whatever you want to be. I was speaking to Dakota earlier, and I told Dakota, hey, Dakota, you have a lot of good rappers here in Houston. Right, Dakota? We're talking. A lot of good rappers in Houston.
Absolutely.
These are people that if they lived their life, if they were able to really turn their craft into being successful in living, they could do it. But the fallacy in this country is that we are a meritocracy. If you are good at what you do, you can be successful at what you do, and you can make whatever money you need to make in your system to survive. It's a lie. Because in America, we don't have a meritocracy. I had a software company that was successful, and I thought at one time I had a big head. I was good at what I did. But you know what I learned? The reason I left it eventually, you know what I learned? I learned that even when under circumstances, you still have to be chosen. And that's what I was talking to Dakota about today. I said, Dakota, whenever I go to my wife's church, I hear great singers. A lot of singers that are better than those that you hear on the radio. But you know what, Dakota?
What's that?
They were not chosen. If it were a meritocracy, they would be able to use their craft to be able to sustain themselves.
Right.
So what we're talking about that's needed in America is an entire and a complete transformation of an economy that really is a free enterprise economy that makes a difference to you. That is what is necessary, and everything that the corporatocracy is doing. You watch MSNBC, as Amy Goodman was talking to us about yesterday. Everything was placed against Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren because you cannot have a system where everybody really has equal access to success. We have to be in a system for those 1% to be able to maintain their power, to understand that we only let you in when we decide that you will be the chosen one. And the problem is too many of those that become the chosen one believe the chosen one meant that they were that good. They were that much better than everybody else. It's not true. I felt that way until I self-examined and realized, you know what? There are a hell of a lot of cats out there that can do exactly what I can do. I was just the chosen one. And when you humble yourself to a reality of you being lucky to be chosen, but most aren't, if you are a true and a fair person, you know what you tell yourself? I can't really live that way. I have to make sure to make everybody be meritorious who deserve to be meritorious. And that is what KPFT and stations independent media does. Or do. In the media is a plural. Independent media do. We ensure that real information and the crap that you hear on mainstream media that maintain our antiseptic slavery from being maintained. When I watch everybody on that freeway as I come into KPFT in the mornings, everybody at 5 o'clock are on the highways getting ready to go and get a salary. And then go back home and it's like, oh, I'm employed by, who do you identify with? Oh, I work for Exxon. Oh, I work for Shell. Oh, I work for this. And you know, a lot of folks do that. And some of the executives make great money, and that is they're the guardians of the gate. I was talking to Dakota about the gatekeepers. You know, you have those gatekeepers that everybody aspire to be because they think that sometime they will be gatekeeper too. But no, there are not enough spaces in the 1% for most. There is a way to organize society where it is really a meritorious society, an equitable society, a fair society. It isn't what we have right now. When Elizabeth talked about accountable capitalism, she's talking no different than when Bernie Sanders talked about democratic socialism. In effect, they're using terminologies for a successful everybody who wants to be. Don't use terms anymore. We are looking for a free enterprise system where everybody has free access to success if they want to, where everybody has the tools necessary to be successful if they want to. And what we are here at KPFT to do in public, and what we are here in independent media to do is to enlighten you and tell you how things really work, how to get the truth, and how then, by understanding these things, we can make intelligent choices at the ballot box so that we support people that support us all, and not just a few, as they fool the rest, as they lie to the rest, as they disempower the rest. Folks, nobody here wants your life to be worse off than you are right now. That's the first thing you got to get out of your head. We want to give food for thought. We want to ensure, and everybody here, their sole purpose of being here is to do good. You know what doctors say, do no harm?
Mm-hmm.
We're not here to do harm. A lot of folks would want to make you believe that folks who talk like this are here to do harm. That's not our job. What's the purpose in doing harm? Another thing I was talking to Dakota about today, we're talking about self-governing. We are going to have to govern ourselves.
Self-accountability.
Exactly. And what I was telling Dakota is, yeah, let's make sure and do that. But let's not fall into the same parlance as the way it is right now. Let's not make the mistake that our current government is making. Let's not make the mistake that a lot of folks make. Let's make sure that when we talk about self-governance, when we create our cooperatives, when we create all these things, that we make sure and that it's all inclusive. Let's make sure that the barrios, the ghettos, and Appalachia are a part of it. Every single culture, let's make sure that we put our minds together, because you know what? When we talk about racism, when we talk about all those isms, right? They're not real. They're real, but their purpose is to divide. And you hear that divide and conquer all of the time. But I'm telling you, if you are so worried about how some people look, why you're not association, you're not working on the problem. But you know what's so funny about it? I want you to all who are listening to me think about it, whatever race you are, whatever. Think about when you're interacting with somebody else, right? From a different culture, different race or whatever, on a one-on-one basis. Hey, it's all cool. You're having fun. You're enjoying yourself. All is good. All is good, right? So what make you believe then, if when you're interacting one-on-one with people, that then that isn't the same in the aggregate? But that's not what Donald Trump, that's not what some folks in both parties would like you to believe, right? They'd like you to believe that it's war. It's war. One group wants to take advantage of another group. One group is taking more from the other. All that crap, it's there to have you fighting among each other, so that those people that are picking your pocket, as former President Johnson said, I can pick his pocket because he's worried about something else. Anyhow, I hope you got that. Okay, caller from 201. I'm going to try one more time to get you on. Please remember to prevent the feedback. Make sure you have the background off. So let's go ahead. I'm going to try you. Come on in, 201. Okay, 201, you're hot. Okay, I can't hear you. Are you on a regular phone? Okay. You got to turn the music off, 201. All right. I guess 201 wanted me to hear a little bit of rap songs or something. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Let me go to the messages that are out here. Okay, Lee Grant says, I agree. Right now we are being lied to. Correct. Lee Grant also says, just how many rappers do we really need anyway? We need whatever people are willing to listen to. What I was trying to make, the reason I was talking to Dakota is, Dakota is at the studio, and I think he's a musician, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I was talking in his context, and my deal is that, hey, Dakota, you could be the master of all your music, you could be the master of all of that, but right now we have all kinds of gatekeepers in order to keep you down. You put your stuff on YouTube, they throttle you to determine how much or how far reaching your music is going to go, your videos are going to go. You go to Facebook, same thing, because what they want to show you is that these masters, these gatekeepers are the ones who ultimately will be there to tell you how successful or what you will be able to do. It's a system, it's a corporatocracy, and what we're talking about is having to make those changes. Okay, Lee Grant says, get pitchforks. If you start out poor, your chances of getting into the upper class is about 5%. Exactly. Lawrence Sims says, true, it will take several years, and we must get the message to the population and let them know what a movement is and not a moment. Brother Sims, I would like to frame that. Let them know what a movement is and not a moment. Brother Sims, I love that. I'm stealing that from you, sir. All right, Vinny Strill says, the truth is there are limits to reality. Someone has to take the trash out. I can take the trash out. I am an engineer. I am a business owner. I'm all of that. If the trash need to get out and nobody else is taking it out, why the hell can't I take it out? You see that we have, I was talking to my daughter earlier today. Love talking to my daughter. And we were talking those same issues about what our culture teaches us, right? Our culture likes to teach us that things that we have to have. Some of these jobs are beneath us. Are you crazy? No job is beneath anybody. Because if there are certain things that are needed to sustain life and order, everybody can do it. So if we are in a society where there's a shortage of garbage people who are going to put your garbage out, you put your own damn garbage out. And based on supply and demand, after a while, if that's a problem and you don't want to do it, you'll pay somebody else to do it. So brothers and sisters, we have to, you see, we created an economy based on gradation. Yes, those who are studying to be doctors work a lot harder than somebody who's flipping burgers, so they deserve to make quite a bit more money, right? But if that doctor has to put his own darn garbage out, he got to put his own darn garbage out. So that's my answer to that one, Mr. Vinny Sterill, my brother. Okay, get the pitchfork, says Luck. Get the pitchfork. Someone has to swab the toilets, of course. The only reason billionaires can make what they make is because other people are taking care of other stuff. But not only that, Sterill, I need to tell you better. It's not only that. Billionaires are using a capitalist structure that takes advantage of the intellect, the works and deeds of others. Let's get that right. It's important. It's not that we are doing the menial stuff for the billionaires to be able to make stuff. That's not it at all. The billionaires have an economic system designed to take away the spoils that your intellect generate. In other words, you generate the intellect, you generate the product, you generate the production, and they take most of it. Okay, let's go ahead and talk to 734. Look like our lines are going to heat up. Come on in, 734.
Hey, Egberto, are we talking about the election?
No, I'm talking a little bit about the economy now, but do you have a quick thing to say about the election? This is Anand, right?
Yes.
Talk to me, my brother. You have something to add?
Well, I was thinking the way the moderates are going, they're going to split the vote each way, and I think if Joe Biden collapses, I think Bernie and Elizabeth Warren need to probably get out, and that'll help Bernie.
No, I don't want Elizabeth to get out now at all. Let me tell you why. There are some Elizabeth Warren voters right now that are not at all ready to move to Bernie, and I think they'll actually move to Klobuchar like they've already started to do. You see, in my humble opinion, what occurred is the media really blew up how great Klobuchar was, which wasn't all that good at the debate. But they created this narrative of inevitability and how good she looked presidential and she's good. And I mean, they created that. And there's a sect of women that saw that and it was like, oh, God. And they were ready to, given that they knew Bernie was going to win the thing, the progressive base that he has, I think they were ready to go ahead and give this other woman the thing. That's just my opinion. All of us have opinions, right? But I definitely don't want Elizabeth to leave right now because right now I think she's there to hold pace for what we are going to have to do later on. That's just my opinion, Anand. Talk to me.
Well, what happens next month if she loses Massachusetts? Because you have a three-way educated voter split between Pete, Klobuchar, and Warren.
Well, she has to work hard. Bottom line, she has to work hard for Super Tuesday. Her next place to really Super Tuesday going to really thin everything out, okay? But I don't know. I think Bernie has a lot of work to do to prove that he can get past his 28% or so. I think and I'm just being practical here. I think Bernie has to change his messaging a tad bit. And I sent a lot of messages to Nina Turner saying, look, Nina, I love Bernie. I was a Bernie delegate, all that good stuff. But there's something in the messaging that we have to change to reach a larger person. You listen to everybody here. They all want what Bernie has to offer. But the problem is that Bernie is still speaking in a way that the plutocracy can hit its message and scare a hell of a lot of people, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, well, we'll see when the minority voters. When the minority voters speak, his percentage is only going to go up, and it could be a slow escalation like Trump did, where he would win with 30% and then 35, then 40,
Right.
then 45, then 50. You know, that's I think,
And that's why I don't want
it'll-
Elizabeth to get out of there, because I think what would happen then is a lot of Elizabeth folks may go to Buttigieg, which he will be funded, and don't be fooled. Klobuchar will start getting funding, and it'll go right there to those two folk, and then that will stifle Bernie, in my humble opinion. But we'll see what happens. But anything else you want to add, my brother?
No, nothing else.
Hey, thank you for calling in, and keep listening and keep sharing, okay, friend?
Sure thing. Bye-bye.
Take care, buddy. All right, let's go to 318. 318, come on in.
Hello?
Yes, come on in, 318. I can't hear you. Are you going to say something? Turn the music off if you want to say something. I guess you just want to play music. All right, let me hang you up. Okay. Anyhow, I have another video to show, but I don't have enough time to do it. I was interviewed by Open Journal earlier, so I was going to play that, but I don't have the time. So let me go ahead and start continuing answering your things here. Let's see. Pitchfork says, exact. Tom Myers says, ganja will help you see the truth. Ganja. You remember that? Pass the Dutchie to the left-hand side of Gabadan. We gonna bun. I can never say the words right. Pass the Dutchie to the left-hand side. I got you, Tom Myers. I didn't know you were a ganja man, Tom Myers. You know what I'm saying, huh? You know what I'm saying, huh, Tom Myers? I can talk like that too. Me got a lot of cultures in me. Lee Grant sounds like class envy. Lee, brother Lee, you know me, Lee. You know I don't have class envy, brother. You know that. Don't use the standard terminology, my brother. You know better, Lee. You're my friend. Well, I don't know you personally, but anybody who stays with me, I love you guys all. All right, Vinny says, the only reason the banker can get on with his day is because the teacher is teaching the class and the doctor is treating the patient and the sewage treatment plant worker is keeping the sewage processing. Yes, remember what I did say before, though, my friend. We have to remember that the economic system, the capitalist system, is designed to take away the spoils. Okay, in other words, if you don't believe me, think about all the people that have invented things, that have created songs and all of that, and see how much they have of their creation, and see how much others have on what they have created. It's right there for us all to see. The thing about it is nobody talks about it. Nobody wants to be clear about it. Okay, well, interestingly enough, the French workers fare a lot better than we do because they fight for it. Que perfecto, Señor Pitchforks. You're absolutely right about that. V-Thrill says, the main problem is that the system is not the system or the rich, but the people and how people analyze their world. Yeah, but there's a whole lot of indoctrination that goes on. Brent Smith, who's going crazy? You know who's going crazy, Brent. Come on now. All right, Pitchforks. I'm donating what I can afford to Bernie. I lost a friend when he ran out of insulin. Brother, don't forget it. Hey, but when you're donating to Bernie, Pitchforks, don't forget to donate to independent media as well. If you are on YouTube, you can also you can super chat us, or you can go to our store, or you can join us at patreon.com/politicsdoneright. We need the support as well to get the message out. Bernie cannot do it alone. We have to have independent media that supports what he is doing. We have to have that. All right, let me go real quickly to 321. 321, come on in. Let's see if that's a real call. 321, you're on.
Big hurt, driving cars, wanting to be stuck.
Okay, I guess we have another caller again that wants to have fun. Okay, Thrill said Elizabeth is aiming to destroy Bernie and will endorse Pete once she's done. If Elizabeth were to do something like that, Elizabeth's political career would be over. I honestly don't think she's doing that. I really don't think she's doing that. Okay, Get the Pitchfork says, I want Medicare for all so other people don't have to die for treatable reasons in the richest country in the world. From your words to my mind to all our audience. Get Pitchfork says, Pete is a weasel. Come on, Pitchforks. Leave the guy alone. Highly intelligent weasel, but still a weasel. No, Pitchfork. He's not. Look, I like Pete, and I like the way Pete talks. I also like Pete's intellect. I really do. But he is just a centrist. I mean, look, these guys are all, like I said, we are blessed with great candidates. But what America needs right now, what the middle class needs right now, what the most people need right now, in my humble opinion, based on everything that I know, everything that I see, is we need to have somebody out there who really wants to create a strong social safety net that will then support a free, vibrant enterprise, a vibrant free enterprise system that allows everybody who wants to have their own business, everybody who wants to work for somebody, to have choices. Private insurance isn't a choice. None of those things are choices. They're false choices. They're made to seem like choices, but they're not. Anyway, we're at the end of the show, my brothers and my sisters. I tell you. I want to thank all of you for being with Politics Done Right. Please do remember to support our program. Please remember all the different options that we provide you to help us out here. I want to say additionally that we will succeed. I want to say, don't fear, vote your heart, and understand that this is now no different than has happened before. We will overcome. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right, and you know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out!